Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Maxjyork, and it's that time again. That time of the year in March. Not only is it getting warmer, which I do preferably love, but it's about that time where your future accountant just goes off a freaking 30 against a team that has future NBA players on there. I mean, can you imagine like just the craziness that this tournament in itself, March Madness, has come year in and year out? It's like you're expecting like somebody like a future first round pick to go off and do it all year, but no, Jack from accounting or Jack from HR right there just put up 40 on him, and and just for that one game alone, like like lives are changed, you know. Now you got, now there are some NBA players that does, now there are some college teams, with NBA players that like they do go on and win a chip at the end of the tournament, but still, like just that one moment, just that one shining moment, to where, but that one shining moment uh, where somebody just comes off and just, your future account or car dealership salesman or whatever just comes in and just rocks everybody's bracket, busts everybody's bracket, and it has even got to the point to where, like, if you were to bet every single underdog in every single game, you are bound to make back your money and then some, you know, because because the car mechanic John right there just put up like triple doubles on you. I mean, you even got people like, like how they make them brackets. Like, they're not. I mean, most people, they don't even do their brackets in the most logical way, where you look at stats, the players, and everything, and how the team pushes and stuff. Logic just goes out the window when it comes around this time. I mean, it has even got to the point where like people are just, like they're just doing a whole sorts of things. Like you got freaking dogs shooting baskets into like which team to pick, which team to choose in your bracket. You know, you got people who's just using you got people who's just using, like the most obscured um uh team mascots, and sees like, I was like, which one's tougher, like a peacock or lion, who's gonna win that one, you know. I mean, obviously, it's gonna be the tiger, but then like some people are gonna be like, say, oh, I like the peacock, and then guess what? They're right. Like, come on, man. Like, what else is there to love about? I mean, what is that? What else is there to love about this? And like, it's just so chaotic, year in and year out. Even back in the old times, like ain't no telling what was going on. I mean, back then, like back in, it's like, in the 2010s, like, I mean, it's not like, in college football where like you all knew like who's gonna be in the BCS national championship. Texas, I was like Texas, Bama, LSU, like just whoever you already knew. But come March, you have the freaking, was it you'll have VCU Rams, Virginia Commonwealth University, just coming out of nowhere and making it to the Final Four, and almost beat Kentucky. You know, and even there's like, you have one year where like Kentucky goes undefeated throughout the whole year, undefeated throughout the whole tournament, and then loses. And they had, I think the whole roster was like NBA players. It's like Jesus, it's like Jesus, man. Like, can we have something to go by? Can we have something to, like, we are like fully, oh, fuck off, ad. But it's like, can we get something to where like, even like, it's a breath of fresh air when the normality happens, when the team you expect to win actually happens. That is even more surprising than when like a Harvard school or Ivy League school comes up and like beats down one of the top contenders, which is something that I love about this, like year in, like just year in and year out. I always love making brackets and just finding, you know, and not only, like just me diving into, like, I think you can only make like 20, but like my first five is just, me considering, the logical ways and stuff. But then like after that, like I just dive into absurdity to where like I'm breaking out the Excel spreadsheet and I was like, okay, go random. It's like pick random teams, or like it's just something that I just love to do year in and year out, and I just love watching, year in and year out. Like like those 2 days in itself was just the 2 days to where like uh, I do little to no work regardless. Now, I remember back in school. Remember back in school to where like my teacher had to be like was like a teacher had to be like, hey, it's like, hey, before we start class, how about we don't watch March Madness? It's like, hey, for class, how about you put the phones away and just pay attention to class? Oh no, fuck you, no. I spent all weekend for I'm spent all weekend on this bracket, and I'm not giving it up. I'm only here for the attendance because attendance is 20% of my grade. I'm here for the attendance, unless it was a test. Then yeah, I'll focus. But other than that, all your stuff is gonna be on the on the study guide they're gonna give us anyway. So fuck off, fuck you, you know. And let me tell you something. Like I really appreciate when the teachers, like they know like what's going on and like they themselves like just have it in the background, or they're like they themselves because like they want to see it, they want to watch it for themselves, or like they just don't care. Those are the type of teachers that I like, and the ones that like that were just showing it in the background are like, "No, you're the OG, you cool." You know, I never had a teacher that just cancel classes and be like, "Hey, so I'm gonna be at the Buffalo." I never had a teacher to do that. I had, which little side note here is like I did had a teacher to where like they couldn't find a parking space and they just they just they just canceled class like, oh, I can't find a parking space. So I'm gonna cancel class, which was very funny. But it just throughout this whole run and everything. I mean, there. I remember one year is like uh were like no number ones, twos, threes, fours, and fives. Like the top five seeds didn't even make it to the tournament. It was like I think it was like 11, 8, 9. I think it was like a 8 and 9 in the championship. That is the one where Kawhi Leonard was playing, and I think Shabazz Napier, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. No, 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 he was Miami. Well, thinking of out of UConn. What's that dude's name? Is it Kimba? Might be Kimba. But no, yeah, it's like and just to and another thing is too is that like like you learn, and another thing is too is like this is essentially just where a star is born. You know, uh, like for instance, CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is a very good player in the NBA, and he came out of Lehigh. Who? That's the last place you think of when it comes to knowing. When that's the last place you think of like, oh, it's like which, oh, it's like who should I draft the NBA player out of? And the only reason he got that high is because like he had that one shining moment against Duke, and I remember that game so vividly, like just that whole dreadedness of like, is Duke actually gonna lose in the first round against fucking Lehigh? I cried the whole day. I cried the whole day. I ain't gonna lie. Like just sitting there and just being like, did my team actually lose to fucking Lehigh? They couldn't stop one dude when we had, I forgot who we had at the time, but we had some pretty notable players. I can't think of him. I can't think of him right now. But because probably because like I don't want to remember because that was just crazy. Just sitting there and like like my dad who's a Torias fan, like just didn't say anything, like he already knew like what I was going through. So oh, I bet your ass he said something next day though, and I was like, ah, okay, okay. And then and another thing is like I kind of noticed too is that like yeah, it's like for some of these for teams, like you win your conference championship, that's an automatic bid into the tournament. And then I remember it's like when I was watching the conference championships this week, it's like I noticed is that like the ones that was playing in the conference championships and even won, their records are shit. But then they just make that one magical run in the conference tournaments. Like I myself never even watched none of the other conference tournaments, but now I'm kind of hood. It's like, oh shit, it's like a freaking. Was it 17 to 21 team in a championship, and they just blow out their top contender. Holy shit. So it's not just the tournament in itself, but like it's the whole fucking month of March. Ain't no telling what's going to happen, not only in the March Madness tournament, but also in the conference tournaments. Like I was like just like last year, like we had Louisville, who had who had a very bad record, and yet they went 5 days straight in their conference championship to get that bid and to make that amazing run, as make that run to make it to the Final Four last year. It's like, oh, god damn. It's just stuff like this that just really makes me love this month, and I just can't wait to see what happens in these next couple of days. Uh, so that's all I got to say today. I'll see y'all later. Was like I'll see y'all on the next one. Later.